Hi, everybody. This is day 1642. I think I misquoted that earlier on a little Facebook live I did. Um, so it's 1642 days since Richard was brutally murdered internally. It was an internal order on Fort Bliss. And we have breaking news. Breaking news is that he was active duty and murdered in the line of duty. Active duty, Richard Halliday, active duty, murdered in the line of duty. And that came today. It's been a very busy day. Make sure I'm on. Okay, so I can see all the comments. And I just want to tell everyone thank you so much for all your support today and all your comments and your shares. They really help us because, it's all about the people, isn't it? And I think that President Trump is showing us that. Of course, he is willing to work very, very hard. And I will tell you that we've been willing to work very, very hard. But he could do none of this without the votes of the people, without the mandate of the people. The right to vote, the power to vote is so important. It's extremely important. And they downplay it. And I was watching today on this very, very important day when the Department of Defense notifies us to confirm that Richard was murdered as an active duty soldier in the line of duty. And I was watching President Trump all day. I was praising God for that, praising God, for every little victory, every step forward, because we want our son's remains, and we're willing to work very, very hard for that. We want our son's remains, and we want those that did this to Richard and our family to be held accountable for what they did. It is so evil. It's the face of evil. And so we watch President Trump very carefully because he also was retaliated against in such an extreme way. I can't even compare ourselves with him. But we lost our son, right? We lost our son. We're a Gold Star family, and we don't want to be. We absolutely don't want to be a Gold Star family. We rather have our son. But President Trump has been really put through the ringer. We've seen it. We've witnessed it. There's no ifs and or buts. He has been put through the ringer, and he has worked very, very hard for the support and the loyalty of the people of this country and those around him. And we're seeing it today. After 3 days, what does he do? He goes to North Carolina. I'm very close to North Carolina. I'm very, very close to Asheville. I know the calls that have been coming out of there for help have been ignored by those that are supposed to. We pay tax money to for them to help, but it's been the people, the private people with private money, donor money, that have actually been helping. And President Trump went. I think FEMA's in trouble. Rightfully so, because of what happened. And being wrongfully used. So, there's that. And then he went to California, and it was really just an amazing sight to see after these amazing 3 days that we feel our notification that we received today is largely in part because of these last 3 days and because of the votes the people's votes for President Trump, the mandate, because the mandate was huge, right? The mandate was very, very big in November, very big. And so, and also our hard work. So it is a team effort between the people and leaders like President Trump that mean business, and families, Team Find Richard Halliday, like ours, that we receive today this confirmation on January 24th, 2025. It's still that. I'm looking at the date right now. We're going to be burning the midnight oil, as always, because we are very, very serious about getting accountability for our son and getting our son's remains. And today was another step towards that, a huge step. This was a big step to have the Department of Defense declare Richard murdered in the line of duty as an active duty soldier on Fort Bliss is a big deal. It's very big legally. It is, yeah. So I think we are, we still have work to do. We're just beginning, really. We're just beginning. We are not, we're not going to give up until we get accountability, until we get our son's remains. And so the admissions now are coming out about what happened, that we have been right all along, that Judge Roger Rodriguez was right when he, in January of 2022, in his official capacity as a judicial officer, filed with multiple agencies a report that identified the prime suspects in the murder of our son and the interference of our son's investigation by tampering within the CID office. The CID is the Criminal Investigative Division of the United States Army there at Fort Bliss. So this also identified Richard's platoon leader as the prime suspect of the prime suspects, because this was a group effort tied to the Mexican cartel, tied to the Walmart mass shooting case. And when I say the Mexican cartel, it's also tied to the Santa Teresa International Jetport in New Mexico. So, and it's also, of course, Richard's case is tied to the criminal trafficking that was going on Fort Bliss with hundreds of thousands. You heard that right. Hundreds of thousands of taken children. The media likes to play with words and say these were unaccompanied minors. These were taken children that were trafficked over the border through El Paso into Fort Bliss child camps, and now they are unaccounted for and mostly dead. We have a problem, don't we? We have a problem. And today in the news, we have another story of a soldier that in 2023, so this is just recently, was living in the barracks, specialist living in the barracks, and with a 14-year-old girl who was the stepdaughter of the security guard under the Director of Emergency Services, Thomas Kane, and was living there for 4 months. 4 months. Being abused in the worst kind of way that a child can be abused. Now, when she was caught, she was 14. The relationship had been going on illegal, way before that. But 4 months she lived in the barracks on Fort Bliss. And I did not read that videos were taken and videos were sold because, of course, we know in our son's case, he was reporting that these videos were being made, turning those in. So we know from others they're airdropped. They're just airdropped. These are illegal videos with children doing the worst things of the worst. And of course, when you have hundreds of thousands of taken children being registered, written on their clothes, written on their back, everything, the worst things, through, and now they're just, no one knows where they're at. They're mostly dead. Something is very wrong. And then with the Walmart mass shooting, we suspect, because Richard's unit is connected to the Walmart mass shooting case. I mean, what is Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia's family member doing in possession of Richard's things after he had been murdered? Yeah. And I need to post that. So absolutely Richard's unit is tied to the Walmart mass shooting, and also Richard's murder is tied to the Walmart mass shooting case. And if you don't know who Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia is, she's part of the Walmart mass shooting case, suspected of fraud, tampering with documents so that she could claim to be a Witwe. She's doing this in Germany, I'm sure. Be a widow and collect the victims' fund for that. And other things surrounding this family. So it is all coming out, and we're very, very grateful that is the case. Now, of course, we still have in the Walmart mass shooting case the defense attempting to illegally, without any authorization, without any jurisdiction, to silence Bill Hicks. Now, that is to keep silent criminal activity. It's just the worst thing to do. It's the worst thing. And I really hope that he speaks out, because they really want him silenced. And so I hope that he speaks out, and because he absolutely knows what happened in that Walmart, and he absolutely knows what happened in Richard's case. So this is, an opportunity for Bill Hicks, because he's been up to no good, to turn over a new leaf. And let's hope that he does that and tells what he knows to the people, because right now when you look at the comments, they're commenting that Joe Spencer, all he wants is dollar signs, right? All he wants is the money. It's millions of dollars for very few hearings. They've had pre-hearings or very few. There's been no movement in the case because it's linked to what Richard was reporting and to Richard's case. So, and it also was an attack. It brings three individuals together that have proven themselves. It is Richard Halliday, Judge Roger Rodriguez, and President Trump. When you look at all of this, that's what we have. We have walls full of stuff, right? And what you see is three that are just MAGA. The MAGA soldier, the MAGA judge, who happened to be the coordinator for terrorism and homeland security program at Fort Bliss. Okay, so you have the MAGA soldier, who is the whistleblower soldier. Then you have the MAGA judge, who is also the whistleblower witness in Richard's case, with one heck of a CV. And then, of course, you have President Trump, who's really, after today, how can you not call him the boss? He's like the boss. He's just incredible. Absolutely incredible. And just think, this is a billionaire. And, I have to say that in 2015, when he came down the escalator with Melania, I didn't know who they were, really. I mean, okay, maybe like, I don't keep up with the stars. I'm not really a Hollywood person, whatever. I mean, I probably saw him in Home Alone. When I watched Home Alone years and years and years ago, I didn't even realize who he was, right? In there. That I just don't keep up with that. But I did hear about, oh, you're fired. I did hear that, but I never watched it, right? So I didn't know who he was, but I did know this: when he came down that staircase and he gave that speech, wow, that told me that he was a man of great knowledge and power. And I looked him up. Rob and I looked him up. Matter of fact, weeks went by in 2015 that I didn't know. I slept very little because I spent my nights looking him up and his family up and watching every video, looking at his financials, all his properties. And, it was just amazing and astonishing. And anyone that does a little research, because votes matter, right? Votes matter. So we need to research. And we did. And when you see how many countries he had to deal with to build what he built, the buildings, the high rises, the towers, right? And how he built it, and all of the businesses that supported his hotels and all of his other ventures that he did, properties. It was just amazing, absolutely amazing, to know that he knew the politics and he knew the laws of those lands, all of that. It's not easy to build in Scotland or in Ireland or in South Korea, right in the middle of Seoul. And it's just, those are just to name a few. Those are just some that were really interesting to me since I lived around those areas. So, yeah, he absolutely is amazing. And isn't he proving himself to be that way today? It's really comforting to see him go to North Carolina, to go to California, where there was so much destruction in both of those places, and know that a builder is going, someone that is capable, and knows what it takes to rebuild. And it was just absolutely amazing. And we're very, very grateful to President Trump. Um, very grateful for designating, rightfully so, cartel, the Mexican cartel, as terroristic organizations, which I don't know if President Trump got that from Judge Rodriguez. Maybe he did because Judge Rodriguez said it, didn't he? He said it publicly that there is no difference between a cartel and a terrorist organization. And here he is, the coordinator, the specialist. Um, and I really hope that President Trump brings Judge Rodriguez into his administration, and not just any little position. I would entrust him with a big position because he's been right all along on this. He also is loyal to defending the Constitution. When you see something wrong in El Paso and Fort Bliss, um, that murdered a soldier, a young soldier, and you're willing to put your career on the document, to file what you know to multiple agencies, and know that one of those agencies is what you're reporting, the CID. He was reporting the CID, the Army. Uh, you know, he was, he absolutely had information that they were tampering, that they were obstructing justice, that they even hurt Richard. And to know that, um, and to know the law in that area, and to know the challenges of that area, and to know that Fort Bliss and El Paso is a criminal trafficking, known for trafficking, and to be that brave, that shows a great character, and he was right all along, wasn't he? Because today, we received confirmation from the Department of Defense that Richard, being an active duty soldier on Fort Bliss, was murdered in the line of duty. And that's huge. And so, to take the retaliation that Richard received, to take the retaliation that the judge has received, to take the retaliation that President Trump has received. We have this amazing trifecta, don't we? With Richard, the judge, and the president. We have the soldier, the judge, and the president. We have this beautiful trifecta. And also, I will say that our family has received a lot of retaliation also. And but you know what? The trifecta is what counts. And that is what is getting us these results. And we're very, very grateful. So please share that information. And we have so much more to share because Richard's case is so big, y'all. It's so big. We it's almost at 30 agencies. Can you believe it? There's nothing comparable to Richard's case. When you have almost 30 agencies involved. Remember, it started with 15 plus. Um, and it's just so big. You can't compare it. There are more agencies involved in Richard's case than 9/11, than the Boston marathon bomber. Then, and you can go on and on. And not by a small amount, but by a huge amount. Richard's case, look, the Iran Contra looks like, just one little, looks like child play compared to Richard's case. It is, not that it was, but I'm just saying Richard's case is just that big. It is just huge. And so we appreciate everyone being patient because it can spin your head uh, when we start talking about El Mayo and Ray Velarde, uh, the lawyer that was both the billionaire um, cartel uh, head. What do you call that? It's late. It's late. And then also assigned to Richard. Really? And then when you start talking about everything around the Walmart mass shooting case, well, one thing you just have to know is that it is true. Joe Spencer, there's no other answer for his actions, and that is he wants the money. He wants the money. Um, and then of course, all of the trafficking and the media response. Media is also um, has been discredited. Bob Moore is totally discredited. He's now like the scum of the earth, right? He's like total. He's the scum of fake news, right? He's just at the bottom of the barrel, because he's just been wrong the whole time, and wrong in a very very bad way because of course, he gets 501c3. He's supposed to be neutral, and yet he lied about us not answering for this latest hit that he tried to do. Um, but we've tried to contact him no less than, oh my gosh, it's more than 15 times now. So, and he also avoided our cease and desist for him. So he's just really needs to be stripped from his 501c3, and he's just a disgraced. Um, Time gone by. His time, he ruined it for himself. He ruined it for himself, and I believe it's even criminal. It's even criminal. So thank you so much. I've gotten just to tell you, I've gotten a lot of feedback about task and purpose too that were uh, 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 not as bad as Bob Moore, but um, and they had nothing nice to say about task and purpose. And this was from um, people that we trust. And, so I hope that task and purpose will reevaluate and do the right thing for our service members' sake. And oh yes, um, Pete Hegseth is in. He's the SecDef. He's a SecDef. Wow. Oh, we've been waiting a long time for that one, and I almost forgot to tell everyone because we were just like, wow, yay! Because the previous Austin, you know, um, well, just say thank God he's not the SecDef anymore. Pete Hegseth is. And we are so happy for the change because how can you get worse than Austin? I don't know. I don't think you can get worse than Austin. Um, and so this is a good thing that we have this change. And if President Trump has confidence in him, then President Trump absolutely has gotten the mandate from the voters to trust him to appoint who he wants and to make his promises even more so because he's keeping his promises, and it is just glorious to see. uh, Really, when I go through town, when I go shopping or anything, people are happy. Just in the last 3 days, they are happy. So a lot of positive responses here. And so, but we're just beginning because we want Richard's remains and we want to hold these people accountable. And, you know, we will absolutely keep everybody informed. Thank you so much. God bless you, and I will see you tomorrow.